So to all of you Dharma companions who are gathered here today to receive the empowerment, it's actually not necessary to recite the prayers of refuge and generation of bodhicitta at the outset, since those prayers are contained within the actual empowerment ceremony. And Rinpoche has said we should begin directly with the empowerment due to limited time this morning, and so in order to do so, I will read in English the history of the empowerment. All sentient beings, coextensive with space, are to be placed in the state of the transcendent victor, glorious Vajrasattva, the sovereign lord over all Buddha families. For that purpose, listening to the words of the profound blessing empowerment, one should gain experience thereof. Having brought into focus the mind set on enlightenment, please listen. The source of all mantras, tantras, and mandalas without exception, the sovereign Lord who presides over every Buddha family, is the transcendent victorious one, glorious Vajrasattva. Through merely hearing his name, causes such as impairments, violations, misdeeds, and downfalls, and fruitions such as every bad migration in cyclic existence, become emptied from their very depths. In the Tantra of the condensed absolute suchness of all the Tathagatas appear these words. Even though they may have committed every misdeed, having engaged the acts of immediate result, having deceived every Tathagata, and having reviled the true Dharma, those who practice the superior divine form among all the Tathagatas will, by recollecting Vajrasattva, in this very life obtain every excellent accomplishment according to their desires, the superior accomplishment or the accomplishment of Vajrasattva, until achieving the complete attainments of the Tathagatas. His sadhana is that of the Supreme 100 Families, who themselves are the Buddhas of the 5 families. Although there is an infinite diversity of elaborate and concise mandala practices of the sole hero and his retinue, and the principal mandala clusters, the one that serves as the principal among them all is entitled the single family of the Great Secret. By practicing this alone, one practices the entirety of mandalas of the victorious ones. The same can also be said of this maturing empowerment. In the Guhya Garbha, it is said, by visualizing the magnificent manifestation in the manner of the king of primordial awareness, seated upon sun and moon in the center of space, the pure sphere, all the infinite mandalas of the victorious ones without exception will be cultivated. Within the many traditions of sadhanas, orally transmitted teachings, revealed treasure teachings, and pure vision transmissions of Vajrasattva that exist, this transmission is close, endowed with the resplendence of blessings and the vaporous breath of the Dakinis that has not yet evaporated. On the 10th day of the monkey month of the sheep year, it was revealed by Ujin Chogyur Dechin Lingpa, the turner of the wheel of oceanic blessing, the emanated treasure revealer, in the indisputable and timely profound Dharma, treasure revealer of the indisputable and timely profound Dharma, from Guru Rinpoche's secret cave in the holy place of Devikoti in the eastern land known as Jewel Rock, similar to Tsari. All the requisite activities for the Vajra Master to perform in reliance on the vase, the stages of the 4 blessing empowerments of the single mudra Vajrasattva according to the Secret Sphere trilogy have already been completed. Thus, the disciples should please offer the mandala accordingly.
Shirabja Parod Sempa, Dorje Cham, Dorje Sempa, Yum Chim, Shiraz into Bari. Top Niji Dorjiba, Dorje Cham. Shirab Oncha Dorjiba, Yum Chim, that's really one of the Tony the Hinji Yemebe, Dani Dana. The Saji, you soon decided to take it. Sort our head. There was some pretty news or a neighbor, Japan. She has the part of some of the pretty news or in the Madopara, Sentin Chade, Dawn, Tanji Chaki or the other thing. Mato about Barsi, Top Della, Nidi Wang. Nidi Wang, Mamimba, Mimbarsiba, then Mamimba, Chabong Dollar, Min Yachi to watch a girl. Don't take out quantity. Manga Solim, Samaga Dorji Chang, Dakana Green Ship, Shirsi, Dorje Sempa, that and kid. Don't around you. Tawayang Tapatel Koko.
So, with regard to the history of this empowerment that has just been read, really one should understand that Buddha Vajradhara, Vajrasattva, the Prajnaparamita, whose words we studied yesterday, are all of the same essence. This essence is the non-dual union of compassion and emptiness. In fact, all of the Buddhas of the 3 times mind streams are none other than this union of compassion and emptiness. This mind of non-dual compassion and emptiness is like the life essence of all of the deities and of all of the Buddhas. Likewise, it is the basis of all of samsara and nirvana. Yesterday, when we spoke about the Heart Sutra, also we spoke about this basic essence of mind that is the basis of the view. It is the basis of all phenomena. When this view is realized, one is Buddha. When it is not realized, one is an ordinary sentient being. So the method whereby unrealized ones can realize the view is through maturing empowerment. Ordinary sentient beings whose minds are obscured are like a frozen block of ice, whereas the Buddhas are like free-flowing water. And by receiving ripening empowerment, then, this mind of ice can melt and become the free-flowing water of Buddha mind. Thus, when we speak of these great deities like Vajradhara, Vajrasattva, or Prajnaparamita, really they are nothing other than the perfection of the ultimate view of the mind that is the union of emptiness and compassion.
Ni don't change your Haja Kichimori. Then machine, you should have thought the Dupshu. Sara, you bad, you keep a chado. Then she's on a Java Hero. Oh, don't come to shot, Japama when you're on a tower, Jungo. Cut the Sangi to Sangi is sending to go, I'm send the Sangi go. There's 7 year old donor. 7 year old daughter, 7 year old say shot, good in Charlotte. The Lord was Japan. None try to go down in Java. They should have last sudden to go in some of it. Flat you young, Chile, Tamsin, dropped on this one. So I keep them and keep it. They got Pori, Tatok Sanjay Sapa, the Shachika, look to Creole, not smoking with them, look to Creole. That's a Matopakada, like you didn't this substance. For example, you take a shot of Creole, my slice, but the Totoji in my Shibori. Penna, Lapa Chipla, Dumoma. Keep oh, Lapa Chipli Sally. Lumo and Zona Ceremony, set out our
So there is a very important point that should be understood here, and those who are able to understand, without understanding this point, the wisdom deities will not be manifest. Without understanding this point, the deities will simply be nothing other than ordinary worldly deities. And that is that the Buddha essence is abiding in one's own mind. This natural state of the mind is the singular basis of every deity. In this regard, Lord Jigten Sungen taught that if one accomplishes one deity, then all of the activities are accomplished within that realization. The outer deity appears in many different forms, having various numbers of arms and implements and ornaments and so forth. Yet these outer manifestations are like clothing that can easily be changed. The inner essence of mind itself is the life force of the deity, and that is singular in nature, no matter how many deities one may practice. If this inner life force is realized and accomplished, one attains both temporary and ultimate benefits. Temporary benefit being rebirth in the three higher realms of gods and humans, and the ultimate benefit being attainment of the state of Buddhahood. Likewise, one attains both the common and extraordinary siddhis, or accomplishments. Otherwise, if one has the idea, oh, I should practice this deity in order to have that result, and do a different type of practice for another result, this is a completely mistaken way of thinking. For example, if you look at one hand that has 5 fingers, the wise will recognize that it's all just a single hand. Fools will focus on the differences among each of the 5 fingers.
Dorje Sempa Dorje Tongpa ni de ne Sempa yi qianbo de Dorje Sempa de bu sen de shi qianbo de che jie wa me ba pa qiao wa me ba jie jie me ba ka dang sen bu de lu bo de jie qi yo ma de di se de ho Dorje de de Tongpa yi de la bi na de de na de ji wa de qiao wa me ba dang bo ji wa me na ha man qiao wa me ba de.
So, in brief, we should understand the meaning of the name of this deity, Vajrasattva. With regard to the first part of the name, Vajra, this really refers to the empty nature of the mind. And when one abides in the empty nature of mind, then there is no birth. If there is no birth, there is also no death. This is the meaning of the term Vajra, or adamantine.
얘가 호대 이 이제 저 바산지 생기 탐지의 유를 내요래 되게 차비요래 차비나 스파이 지침보래도 때 또라 수도라 되게 상자로 상지 이제 맞지 또로래 무엇도 제물들도 만매가 잡혀요래 시작부터 나가다 시작부터 진짜 록자 주요래 때 마도는 호가래 또라 상지 배는 좀 어디 배지나 파카콜로 마도 없을 때는 나이 이지가 철도 호가서 그래 철도 뭐라고 내려오대요 라고 내려오라고 또 손들이 상지 끼찍끼찍 제bra지 상지 생기는 빨라 끼찍끼찍 같은 제브라 지키오레.
So this singular essence is the basis that pervades all Buddhas and sentient beings, all of samsara and nirvana. This essence is of but one nature. When one recognizes it, one is a Buddha. When it is not recognized, one is a sentient being. This is the essential meaning of transcendent awareness, or the perfection of wisdom, which we discussed yesterday. when one fails to realize this essential nature, one continues to wander in cyclic existence, giving rise to dualistic perceptions of self and other. And this is the nature of delusion. In this regard, if we look outward at outer phenomena and are distracted by outward phenomena, then we do not realize the ultimate nature. Yet when we turn the mind inward, looking at the mind with the mind, in a single instant the nature of phenomena and the nature of the mind can be understood. In this way, in a single instant, one can, experience the difference between Buddha mind and the mind of ordinary sentient beings. The dividing line between these two is very fine, and one can change from one state to the other in a single moment. So with regard to the secret mantra teachings, which are endowed with many different skillful methods of practice, which cause the unrealized to become realized, there are various teachings that are given. First, in order to realize the view, which is the natural state of the mind, it is necessary for the practitioner to cease being deceived by outer forms, outer sounds, and other outer manifestations. In this regard, then, the generation stage yogas are taught. That is to say, one is taught to realize or to recognize appearances and one's own body as the form of the deity, which is the union of emptiness and appearance. Likewise, one recognizes sounds as the mantra of the deity, which is the union of sound and emptiness. Finally, one realizes the mind itself as emptiness and awareness, and one can remain in this, if one can remain in the body, speech, and mind's ultimate nature in this way, then in a single life one can become fully ripened or matured. This is the meaning then of the ripening or maturing empowerment of the deity Vajrasattva.
Om Vajrasattva Sammaya Manapalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Dishalita Mepava Sukokaya Mepava Sukokaya Mepava Anurakta Mepava Sarva Siddhi Meprayasa Sarva Karma Sutsame Chittam Shriya Puro Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vrajamame Munsarva Deva Vaha Samaya Sattva Om Sarvata Bhagava Deva Deva
All sentient beings, our mothers who are coextensive with space, have at the very basis the cause of Buddhahood, yet not knowing this Buddha essence, they continue to wander in cyclic existence. The basic cause of this not knowing is self-grasping, fixating on the notion of the I. Now, when we engage any empowerment or any turning of the wheel of Dharma, propagation of the teachings or practice, we make offering of the mandala, and this mandala offering is for the purpose of accumulating merit by engaging the antidote to self-grasping. Thus, we should imagine that all of the sentient beings of the three spheres of existence and our self-grasping, likewise, are gathered together. The self-grasping of all beings and the self-grasping of an individual are the same because the fundamental basis of mind is the same. And so, offering the mandala, we should mentally gather together the self-grasping of all sentient beings and offer that up together with the mandala. And likewise, we should imagine that the mind streams of all beings are pervaded then by loving kindness and compassion. In this way, we should make the mandala offering.
Guru Devata Rina Mendra Bodhisattva.
Da Namkala Dorje Sempa so imba geteni sok jusum ko saji tabji Hongla Yogo, the Yellow Sample Sinti, Yam, Jackson go low with me, Jango Sinti. Tell me, really, say, the truth of Honglisha.
In space, you should visualize a vast form of glorious Vajrasattva as the principal deity, surrounded by the Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 times, who appear like cumulus clouds. And then you should think that all sentient beings together are taking refuge and giving rise to bodhicitta as we recite the following prayers. And these prayers should be recited only 1 time each due to limited time. Please repeat the following. O Guru Vajrasattva, O Guru Vajrasattva, please protect me from the sufferings of the hells. I feel ashamed of my accumulation of misdeeds and confess them with regret before you, Protector. As I promise not to do such things hereafter, Protector, please make me whole in order to act for the purpose of all sentient ones. I will accomplish Vajrasattva. As I unite with your body, speech and mind, please guide me to the unsurpassed state. Please repeat the following Namo. In order that sentient beings, others and myself, be freed from suffering, I take refuge until enlightenment in Guru Vajrasattva, the triple gem, and assemblies of Yidams and Dakinis. The bases I hold to as refuges. I will establish all beings of the 6 classes, my parents who pervade space, in the state of Vajrasattva, the transcendent victor, the sovereign Lord who pervades all Buddha families. For that purpose, I request the bestowal of ripening empowerment, thinking I will persevere in diligent effort in practice, which is the path, and holding in mind the concentration on the 4 immeasurables, love, compassion, rejoicing, and equanimity towards sentient beings, my parents who have not realized the natural state and are deluded in cyclic existence. Please repeat the following. In accord with the deeds of the victorious ones of the past, I will persevere in engaging the purpose of all sentient beings. I will liberate those sentient ones who have not crossed over, and release those who have not yet become free. I will give relief to sentient ones, guide them to and establish them in the state beyond suffering. May wayfaring beings have happiness, be free from suffering, attain the joy of the exalted ones, and abide in equanimity. The infinite field of accumulation of gurus, yidams, dakinis, dharma guardians, and protectors appears like great oceans of clouds. In the presence of this all-pervading, spontaneously manifest mandala, arisen from the expressive energy of the great pervasive expanse of the ultimate sphere, that is the mind of glorious Guru Vajrasattva, we recite the 7-limb prayer. The 7 limbs, which include prostration and so forth, gather together the essence of accumulation and purification. Recalling the meaning of each of them, please repeat the following. Victorious ones of the 10 directions, together with your children, please come here and remain in the inseparable expanse that is free from change or transition. In the state of primordial purity, I prostrate. I make offering with oceans of offering clouds, completely manifest from Dharmata. I reveal and confess negative actions committed through ignorance and rejoice in space and awareness that is without gathering or separation. Please turn the wheel of the all-encompassing Dharma that is void of the downfall of bias. Please remain continually in the 3 times, not passing into nirvana. I dedicate the non-referential accumulation of merit to wayfaring beings, coextensive with space. May the state of Vajrasattva be swiftly attained.
One 동대 강원들이 좁고 요래 나중에 이보라 마오 향바서 새끼담도 피고 또 로지 종들이 고발이 텐데 나중에 탈린 고발이 갖게 요래 이 사람들이 왕 정말 믿을게 있지 뭐래 이 사람들이 믿을때 하장 동사고 네 동시 싸움하잖아 왕 탑지 동사 적발이 이 동시 또 왕 야타바시는 어떤 대인상네 니들이 로요래 하자 기치 모르겠지. 근데 자 양송 자 양들 철사 아들 띠와 철사 나딘 파 양도 요래. 동태해지.
So the meaning of empowerment is to attain independence and freedom, and that which we attain independence from is self-grasping. This notion of the I. The way this freedom is achieved then is through giving rise to the wish to bring about the benefit of all sentient beings. When we are liberated from self-grasping, we become liberated from cyclic existence. In this regard, the prayers that are recited during empowerment are extremely important to understand. We should contemplate the meaning of each of these prayers. When we understand them well, then we should know that having received one empowerment and understood its meaning, all other empowerments are basically the same. Even if you receive 100 different deity empowerments, still their meaning will come down to the meaning that is being expressed today. We speak about accumulation and purification. But what is it that is to be accumulated and purified? It is loving kindness that must be accumulated, and the habits of self-grasping that must be purified.
나는 제름 탐지 제름 항상 연구를 하고 저래. 제름 탐지를 좋아하니 소액달 나중에 내가 차고 나중에 인보를 이게 홍 사탐지 파체도 소 홍유들이 근데 무슨 내리 공부 그네가 야도 공나 이 라지가 마동라 도당 대바 내게 빈송 알 빈송 걔게 된 디즈와이 네 제는 무시나 가지는 소액대 소소 전나 저거리 맞잖아 여기 홍주고 거는 이 랑지를 쌓던 보통데 막 이제도 이게 홍고 샘때 많이 봐 너도 샘내고 샘내는 되게 막아리 제는 그래 홍고
So in general, it is difficult to give rise to all of the attributes of the generation stage practices immediately. These are gradually developed over a period of time. But of principal importance to all of the generation stage yogas is the seed syllable of the deity. If we focus well on this seed syllable, then it is the antidote to self-grasping. So for the purpose of this empowerment, and also for many other deities, we focus on the seed syllable Hong. And if you can visualize this syllable abiding in a small flame, this brings about great benefit. It causes the experience of clarity and emptiness to naturally arise. It also brings about warmth in the physical body. Meditating in this way on the seed syllable within a flame has benefited me, and because of this, I have had this image of the Hong syllable in the flame created. And if you focus in this way exclusively on the seed syllable, then the nature of the mind, that is the union of clarity and emptiness, will spontaneously arise. If you can cause the mind to abide focused on this seed syllable, then the attributes of the generation stage yogas will gradually manifest in your mind stream. In the vase that is the immeasurable palace of the great pervasive expanse of primordial purity of the luminous ultimate sphere is the Lord and Lady Vajrasattva, the nature of spontaneously self-perfected primordial awareness and great bliss. They are all-pervading, with form and shape that transform into all that is desired. From their body that abides manifesting the attributes of the major and minor marks, descends a stream of bodhicitta that is the nature of timeless awareness. The flow of nectar, white like the moon, manifests 3 times. First, it fills the body from the crowns of your heads down to your throats, purifying the ripened defilements of the body. Thus the blessings of enlightened body enter your mind stream. You have become one endowed with the fortune to attain the immutable marks and signs in the eyes of others, and in your own perception, the appearing yet empty Vajra body. With the second stream, the body is filled from the throat down to the heart, purifying the moving defilements of speech. Thus the blessings of enlightened speech enter your mind stream. You have become one endowed with the fortune to accomplish the melodious sound of the eloquent elucidation of Mahayana Dharma in the perception of others, and in your own personal experience, the enlightened speech that is the audible yet empty subtle sound. With the third stream, the entire interior of the body is filled from the heart downward, purifying the deluded concepts of the mind. Thus the blessings of enlightened mind enter your mind stream. Feel that you have become one endowed with the fortune to realize in the perception of others the splendor of the union of great bliss, and in your own personal experience, the enlightened mind of primordial purity, self-liberated on arising.
Dorje Sempa, Dorje Sempa, Doctor, the Brahmi, Doctor Mushiji, or my Mama, the Shadow to Joto Parado, one better Somaya, Mother Palaya, the Random, Sava said the Meba yet of the young
From the overflow of the remaining nectar, your crown is adorned with the Tathagatas of the 5 families as a sign of empowerment. Thus, imagine that the 5 wisdoms are actualized.
The Kangyina, Hatan, Shapnu, Tungdi, Rangi, Sempi, Nerogde. Oh, na, Day, Shapla, Dini, Yumuba Kangi, Yumuba Yimanda Masonga, Lawanto for the Yumu Shi, the Kata, Meta for Shingon, don't did them all the body.
What is the meaning of these words that have just been read? They accord with the teachings of the Heart Sutra that were given yesterday. It is that when the natural state of the mind is realized, then whatever emotions and thoughts arise in the mind, one will not fall under their power. Rather, one will remain within one's own power and thus achieve freedom or independence. Yesterday I gave the example of the flame of awareness and the fuel of negative emotions. When awareness is maintained, then whatever thoughts and negative emotions arise in the mind merely become fuel for that awareness. Thus the meaning of these words of the empowerment and the teaching yesterday are the same. Finally, as the V's deities and the transcendent victor Vajrasattva melt into light and are absorbed into all of you, the enlightened body, speech and mind of Vajrasattva become indistinguishable from your body, speech and mind, thus becoming the essence of the 3 Vajras. The defilements arisen from apprehending the 3 doors as distinct have been purified. The blessings of timeless awareness enter your mind stream. You have become one endowed with the fortune to manifest the 2 form bodies in the perception of others, and in your own personal experience to manifest the 3 kayas.
The Kaza Gilkin Amselina, that our banner, Rago that our bone gold, let our bone pocket. Nato Tata one time, Namka Dorje Sempa, Namkakawa. They tampi Chabaga number, Pinton Chabaga number, Compton St. Kintampi, Yul Yula Yuni, Compton St. Kintam, Charum Dawe, Naku Chabati, Chokrum water our chanting, Charum Shone, Lasang, Charum Dapur Tambanagi, Compton St. Kintampi, Yul Show Rose. 감성 생기는데 유를 쇼네 감성 생기는데 제가 동동을 어서 그리 레레 싸움을 생기 장미가 양 레레 제가 생기 장미가 이 거기요 그런데 봤으면 거기 그거
At this juncture then, we should contemplate in the following way. When we ourselves engage the practice of the deity on the basis of having received this sort of empowerment, we should imagine that a great form of Vajrasattva is abiding in space and completely filling the entire sky. And then from this form of Vajrasattva emanate many clouds, and also comes a rainfall that descends upon all sentient beings of the 3 spheres of existence and blesses their mind streams. And thus the minds of sentient beings that have been like frozen blocks of ice begin to melt away, and their mind streams become like free-flowing water that merges with the vast ocean of the Buddha's mind. Thus, all sentient beings of the 3 spheres realize the ultimate meaning and the ultimate nature of their minds. Visualizing and practicing in this way, one should have confidence that limitless sentient beings attain liberation.
Bendy 왕의 이서 가장 이제 실학 홍보 주요 실학 홍보들이 염증 집중 좀 예입니다. 가장 주도 약간이 집중 먹고 봐 같이 필요해. 그냥 내리 로바서 봐 같이 톱이 좀 말이지. 얘는 콜라 족발이 됐다. 약합사 받지 그러고 우리 남들은 막 보자. 그 톱아서 나 이제서 토바 탐지가 많아. 지금 막 토바 탐지 그래지 로봇 봐. 이제 펄데 나 말하면 다 하져서 납치고 몸 나오. 이렇게 로봇 봐. 이제 중동이들 하졌다 싶어요. 이제 제 앞에 로봇이 포도 톱 타와 탐지가 많았나. 약합사 받지 돼서 템그리. 내리 저거
So following the empowerment, for those of you who have not yet received one of these images of White Tara, I would like to make them available. The Heart Sutra, which we studied yesterday, which is the essence of Prajna Paramita, is really, Prajna Paramita herself is inseparable from Aryatara. And so in the past I have distributed these images to the students here. However, for those of you who have not yet received them, I wish to make them available. For those who have already received them, please do not take another one simply because I'll be visiting a new country that I have not yet visited before next week, and I would like to make it this image available to them so that it can be distributed throughout their country as well. This image of Aryatara is endowed with great blessing. She appeared to me in this form in a dream and bestowed blessing upon me. And because of this connection, I would like to offer this to you, students. So, following the empowerment now, Rinpoche is giving the refuge vow. For those of you who have not received it, could you please raise your hands so we get an idea of how many people need to take the vow? Many people, it seems.
잡동이 냠되지 아니 네네 바보 왕소마한테 패턴들이 잡동을 다 이렇게 놓고 왔대 말 두고 나서 말이 꼬라지자 하나 드리기로 와 하다가 왕을 탐색했다 잘라 잡동 색깔이 잡동색가 다리 잡동 지리체 살아라 잡동 지리체 참 바보 참아 왕소마한테 왕소한테 패턴 돌아 잘라 이 잡동 탐색이
So because of limited time, we're going to need to do the ritual parts of the empowerment and the refuge vow ceremony at the same time. So what we'll do is complete the prayers that must be recited to complete the empowerment, and then from there we'll begin the prayers that need to be recited for the refuge vow ceremony. And then following that, the students who only need to receive the empowerment should come forward first, and they can receive the blessings of the vase and so forth. And then those who wish to receive both the empowerment and the refuge vow ceremony can come forward after them, and we can bestow the blessings of the vase for the empowerment and so forth, and then also cut the lock of hair for those of you taking refuge.
내가 와서 담책의 정지 이거 와서 담책이라 잡이도 막 이와치고 내가 담책이 바디 아까 답자서 그거예요 왕디야 다다란 게 왕디에 되게 시합을 나와 그렇게 시합들이 이 시합들이나 dorje sempa nang senong wote yorwa dikami jami doba nang saji ha ho yorwa wang ka dorje sempa ti jami ka nang si nang saji cha yorwa
So whenever we receive empowerment, there is also a samaya, or a commitment that goes together with that empowerment. So today we are receiving the empowerment of Vajrasattva, and we should maintain or preserve the commitments for this empowerment. Likewise, when we receive the vow of refuge, there are commitments that should be maintained. And a principle among all of these is maintaining vigilant, mindful awareness. So during the empowerment, we are introduced to the actual Vajrasattva, which is the nature of mind. And the principal empowerment, the principal commitment we must maintain then is to continually cultivate this vigilant, mindful awareness. This mindful awareness is the inner Buddha, the ultimate refuge. And so whether we are receiving the empowerment of Vajrasattva or taking the refuge vow, the primary commitment that should be maintained is cultivating mindful awareness. So, for those of you who are receiving refuge, it is important to understand that the supreme among all refuges are the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And when we receive the vow, we should hold it in our hearts from now until the state of Buddhahood is achieved. As we maintain the vow of refuge, we will experience the temporary bliss and benefit of rebirth in the three higher realms, and the ultimate bliss and benefit of the attainment of perfect Buddhahood. With regard to the outer three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I imagine most of you students already have some understanding of these. Thus, I would like to speak a little bit about the inner meaning of the three jewels. Because it is important to understand that these inner three jewels are complete in your own mind stream. In order to introduce the meaning, the inner meaning of the three jewels, I have created these refuge cards which contain prayers that I find to be particularly meaningful. And even those aspects of the Dharma that I have not really well contemplated, when I look at these prayers on the refuge card, they really reveal to me a great deal of meaning and import of the Buddha's teachings. And so I've asked that they be read to you right now, just as a brief introduction. The first of these prayers is the condensed essence of the Buddha's teachings, which reads, "Do not commit any wrong. Perfectly practice virtue. Completely tame your own mind. This is the Buddha's teaching." And on the opposite side of the card, there are two other points. The first is, "I take refuge in transcendent awareness, the heart essence of Buddha. I take refuge in compassion, the heart essence of Dharma. I take refuge in spiritual friends, the heart essence of companions." And the final point is, "When harm to others and its cause are abandoned, the individual liberation vows are complete. When help to others and its cause are accomplished, the bodhisattva's vows are complete. When one is adept at the pure perception of the vessel and contents, the mantric vows are complete."
시합는 그 동대랑 시합대 사진이 사진이 저 랑이 와래 그다 그들도 서로래요 있으나 슈 주복 예때 냠설 랑네요 니뭐 가리 톡고도 니뭐 띠와 톡고 그래 이비로 삼년계도 막 톡나 같이 냠설 랑나 같이 내리랑 돌아 요래 그 맛이나 다디도 유모 밥에 리사한 냠설 랑나 내리 찌와랑 그다 로유 요래가 이때다 차도 그래 삼년계도 되고 추진이 뭐 찌와래 시합돼 사제비 뭐 시랍을 하는 거래. 얘는 도저히 뭐 개도이지 봐도 개도를 뛰네 따디 주상범좀 와서 살고 롱다를 빠르지. 그때다 이게 보지나 말아 좋고 봐. 해보나 말아 좋고 그래. 개비신이 뭐 그렇고 주당 개도이 서로를 거래. 그런 잡도 봐도 주당 개도이 뭐 그렇게 산지라는 게 개비시랍 다다 잠비도 뭐 저도 요파데 기와 마마라게 고조도 되어요 봤다 수능 비교지 대요리 이스는 다라디 기비 신이 상해제 제사 다 주게는 걸 알아 주사가 게디를 잘 추나 다 동가래 다른 답자가 가리고 와 다디 이제 이말지 요래 감 이제는 이렇게 빵을 소타고도 마찬가지. 가게 되는 감자도 값어. 마 다니 동대 사마 예파도. 그렇게 신기 설라는 누가 있으면 뭐 시기는 요방가 땅만 쏘서 감자도. 이 감자도 정소나 소타고 너무 잡아 참고요. 노바 마당을 소도 나 르마 쓰어을 보는 새끼는 페이바들 벽도만 쇼서 담자지나 이 사촌서 노바를 싸워지 가까시는 막 보이네요 디나 각당 시락지부 동시에 이 다낭 동네 마돔 창이나 마돔을 만나야 심지 탐지에 샘도 사지의 절에서 서가나 봐 강만이 봐 샘도 용의 사지의 절에서 하고는 다 다나 드리는 거예요. 그래. 하고 동서만 대다로 권조정부 동네 대다로 담자지 제나 이 담자지 니바데게 그 랑이 이 제가 덕고요. 포가 가요. 아직 다다 모나잖아. 기마 타도 출을 제발 소지 모나잖아요. 나 기마 타도 출을 제발 소서는 그냥 답을 모나잖아. 그다 보고 가시 말 보고 하는 거죠. 아마 그 보고들 잡기도 맞아요. 지들 라면 보여요. 아마 좀 호다는 거거든요. 가리 보고 제가 뭐라면 떠버렸더니 막 드시래 내가 요래. 진짜 또 요래. 아무튼 또 망보 요리지. 너는 되게 무슨 하고 어떤 저랬다고 그랬더니 담자 피치 뭐래.
So when we receive the vow of refuge, we take refuge in the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. On an inner level, the refuge in the Buddha is made manifest. How this is so is that the Buddha is the Buddha nature which is present inside the minds of all sentient beings. This is the meaning of the perfection of wisdom. This is the meaning of transcendent awareness, which is the very cause of Buddhahood. So in this way, the inner refuge of the Buddha manifests from within the mind. Then the refuges of Dharma and Sangha are outwardly manifest. That is to say, when we engage the practice of Dharma, what is the result that is achieved? It is that we give rise to loving kindness and compassion in our mind streams. If one is a Dharma practitioner, yet one fails to give rise to loving kindness and compassion, then one will not achieve the fruition of Buddhist practice. And it is possible even to take rebirth in an inferior form, such as that of a spirit or a demon. So the sign that we have given rise to the blessings of the Dharma is the love and compassion in our mind streams. Now, with regard to the Sangha, these are the companions on the path who reveal to us the path of practice. It is through the kindness of the Sangha that we receive the teachings which are to be heard, contemplated, and habituated in our mind streams. It is spiritual guides then who introduce the path to us. In this way we can see that the Buddha is inwardly manifest and Dharma and Sangha are outwardly manifest. When the Buddha is manifest within our own mind stream, this appears as transcendent awareness. We have the wish to take the vow of refuge, and this wish itself is a sign of the merit and virtue we have accumulated in former lives. It is a sign of transcendent awareness. Then, having taken refuge, when we give rise to loving kindness and compassion in our mind streams, on the basis of the Dharma teachings, we too become members of the Sangha. So it is very important then that we maintain the commitments of the vow of refuge. Now, as it says on the refuge card, when harm to others and its cause are abandoned, the individual liberation vows are complete. So today when you receive the vow of refuge, you make a mental commitment that from now until Buddhahood is achieved, you will not do any harm to any sentient being through body, speech, or mind. By maintaining this, then the vows, the individual liberation vows, are maintained. Of course, in each of these vow systems, if one were to enumerate every individual vow, there would be quite many. Yet, by avoiding harming any sentient being, the essence of the individual liberation vows is maintained. Likewise, when we give rise to the commitment to bring benefit with our body, speech, and mind to sentient beings, this is the root essence of the Bodhisattva's vow. Thus it says on the refuge cards, when help to others and its cause are accomplished, the Bodhisattva's vows are complete. And then, in accord with the teachings we received yesterday on the Heart Sutra, all phenomena are arisen from the mind itself, and we should give rise then to pure perception of the outer container and the inner contents. From the context of this pure perception, all sentient beings are endowed with mind, and thus all beings possess the Buddha nature. Thus it is foolish to discriminate between those who are Buddhist and those who are non-Buddhist. If we can give rise to impartial, pure perception of sentient beings, then the secret mantra vows are maintained. As it says on the refuge card, when one is adept at the pure perception of the vessel and contents, the mantric vows are complete. So in this way, when we take refuge in the three jewels, it is essential that we make a mental commitment to maintain these precepts and vows. And when we do so, the result will be attained. What is the sign of accomplishment? One sign is that we will meet with the Dharma teachings as soon as we are born in our future lives. And we can see that there are some beings who, through the power of their aspirations and their maintaining of the vows, have the good fortune to receive the vow of refuge even when they remain in their mother's womb. Through the power of their commitment, the wish to take the vow of refuge arises in the mind stream of the mother. And such benefits then can be attained when we maintain the vows and commitments. Thus, they are very important. So all of the refuge trainings that one should engage are presented in detail in the text, The 37 Practices of the Bodhisattvas. One should read and study this text well, and then maintain those trainings as one is able to. If one finds that one is not able to maintain the trainings, then one should confess this and purify one's faults through confession. If in this way one engages regularly the practice of confession, it will be possible to purify one's karma so that the fully ripened effect will not be made manifest. And then with regard to the brief trainings that one should engage having received the Bodhisattva's vow, these are presented on the refuge card in these words of the Buddha, which read, "Do not commit any wrong, perfectly practice virtue, completely tame your own mind." And so we should understand then the commitments that we should maintain as being presented in brief in the refuge card, more extensively in the 37 practices. And once this is understood, then there is no need to recite any separate prayer regarding the commitments for having received today's empowerment. So, having bestowed the vow of refuge, there is an important responsibility that I must maintain, and some important responsibilities for you to maintain. From my own side, having given the vow of refuge, then I make a mental commitment that I must give rise to loving kindness and be able to bestow that loving kindness upon you, my disciples, in this life, in future lives, and in the intermediate state. As far as your responsibilities, they should be understood in the following way. You must recall again and again the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You must give rise to loving kindness for sentient beings. You must confess faults and downfalls and negative actions. And you must remember Aryatara. Since 1983, I've been giving this vow of refuge and collecting the locks of hair that have been cut from the heads of all of those who have taken the vow together in this little bag. And inside it is an image of Aryatara. And I pray that she continually grant her blessings to all of those to whom I have bestowed the vow of refuge. That these locks of hair do not go to waste. They are gathered together and placed in the very sacred prayer wheel that is present at my monastery in eastern Tibet. And it is my prayer that through recalling Aryatara, you and I will always have a connection. I myself am not able to accomplish many diverse deity practices. I focus my attention on accomplishing the practice of Aryatara, and thus whenever you recall her, there is a connection made between us. Of course, Aryatara is the essence of all other deities, such as Manjushri, Yamantaka, and every other Yidam. All deities have the same essence. Also, we are distributing the blessing pills today, and if you take this on a regular basis, it brings about great benefit. These blessing pills have been consecrated by lamas and masters of the 4 different Buddhist lineages in Tibet. And when you take them, you should take just the smallest grain under the tongue. And at that time, if you can do the Vajra recitation of the syllables Om Ahum, it will bring great benefit. All physical illness, in the best case, physical illnesses will be healed by taking this medicine, and even if they are not healed, their negative effects will be diminished. And in the future, through taking these blessing pills, one will be able to give rise to bodhicitta in one's future lives as well. This then will destroy the self-grasping in one's mind stream, and one will continually cultivate the mind wishing to accomplish others' benefit. So I will recall my responsibilities having bestowed this vow of refuge, and I pray that you will do the same. So in order to receive the vow of refuge, please repeat the following. Noble one, please heed me. Noble one, please heed me. Henceforth, and for as long as I live, I who am called, and then please say your names, take refuge in the Buddha, who is supreme among two-legged beings. I take refuge in the Dharma, which is supreme among those free of attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, which is supreme among assemblies. Noble one, as long as I live, please accept me as a lay practitioner who adheres to the 3 refuges and maintains the precepts. Please repeat, Master, please heed me. Henceforth, until attaining the essence of enlightenment, I who am called, and then say your names, take refuge in the Buddha, who is supreme among two-legged beings. I take refuge in the Dharma, which is supreme among those free of attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, which is supreme among assemblies, until I attain the essence of awakening. Master, please accept me as a lay practitioner who adheres to the 3 refuges and maintains the precepts. In the first of these prayers, you want to do the second one? So in the first of these 2 refuge prayers, we promise to maintain the precepts for as long as we live. There are a number of different precepts that can be taken with the vow of refuge, and one should decide which among these one will take. And then, in the ideal case, one maintains them until death for the duration of this life. Otherwise, one can maintain them for a year or a period of years. Otherwise, one can maintain them for a period of months or days. Then, with the second of these prayers, we pray to maintain the precepts and adhere to the 3 refuges until attaining the essence of enlightenment. The most important point here is that we give rise to a mind of loving kindness and compassion, and we pledge not to abandon that mind until the state of Buddhahood is achieved. The result of this is that when we are reborn, we will have certain qualities that are arisen from bodhicitta. The mind will be happy and without fear. Many times you meet young children or infants who are always joyful and even in the presence of strangers have no fear. This is a sign that those children have received the bodhisattva's vow or have taken the vow of refuge endowed with bodhicitta in past lives. At this juncture, then, the master recites the words "Tap yino," which means "this is the method," and the students should respond "Leg so," meaning "it is good."
Yeah, tap the 강이나 tap the simki tap the 사제기 뭐 요장 왜나 님마만 보고 처럼 탑 강이들 처럼 된 님이는 야나 셔라고 요리 디스는 된 simki tap the 잡도 마소나 산여도 야석고요 말이에요. 그것도 그다 말이야. 디스는 된 주도 상계의 탑이라 어디 딱 그게
So this sentence, "this is the method," what is the meaning of this term method? It is that all sentient beings have the Buddha essence, however that essence has not been realized. Therefore their minds abide like a frozen block of ice. And that ice has not yet melted. Yet when it is set in the sun, the ice melts away into free-flowing water. And so receiving this vow of refuge is the method, like setting the ice in the sunlight so that the Buddha's innate qualities can be made manifest. Therefore, this is the method whereby Buddhahood is attained. So please repeat the following prayers of aspiration. Emulating all of the conquerors, may I bring excellent conduct to complete perfection and engage in perfectly pure flawless moral conduct that never declines and is without fault. In this and all successive lifetimes, may I never be separated from the three precious jewels. May I give my life force to accomplish the purpose of wayfaring beings through great perseverance. May precious supreme bodhicitta arise in whom it has not been generated. May that which has been generated not decline, but ever further increase. In this and all successive lifetimes, may I not be separated from the supreme teachings of the matchless Drigongpa, Ratnashri, and may I be accepted by glorious gurus. In all my rebirths, may I never be separated from sublime gurus and always enjoy the glory of the Dharma. Having completely perfected the qualities of the stages and paths, may I swiftly attain the state of Vajradhara. In all rebirths, may I be of noble lineage, with clear intellect, devoid of pride, and possessed of great compassion and devotion to the Guru. Thus may I observe the Samaya of the glorious Guru. May all the aspiration prayers for the purpose of wayfaring beings that have been made from great, beneficent Vajradhara down to the kind root Lama be swiftly accomplished.
How long should we talk about it? Mahayana, one should talk about picture. They used to jump on some of one should talk about
So, for those of you who wish to receive the empowerment but not the refuge vow, please come forward one by one first and receive the empowerment. Once it has been received, you are free to go. For those who then wish to receive the vow of refuge, first, one by one, receive the empowerment and then file through again to receive the vow of refuge.